Hello everyone. My name is Emily. Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited to share with you this second middle grade Monday recommendation video. Every other Monday I do middle grade recommendations. I am a private tutor, so I read a lot of middle grade, A, because I love it, and B, I like to read things that I can then in turn recommend to my clients. I work with kids from going into kindergarten all the way up to high school, so I read a variety of things. I also have a bunch of adult books here on the channel, but that is not what we are talking about today. We are talking about the part 2 of my favorite middle grade books of all times. July is my birthday month, so I am stretching the rules and giving you more options. Normally I do 5 books each video. No, not this time. So I will link the first one in the description box below. So take a look at that and make sure you're subscribed so that you can see all of the other Middle Grade Mondays recommendation videos that I put out. So we are going to talk about 7 more recommendations that I love, that are my favorite, that I recommend to kids, that kids love. These are just happy books that make me happy, that I loved reading, that have stuck with me, that just are wonderful. So the first one is Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan. Yes. And this is the Ruins of Gorlin. So this is a fantasy. We follow a orphan Will who has to choose sort of his vocation, and he chooses to be a part of the Ranger group, Ranger Corps, which are archers and sort of like the spies of the kingdom that bring in all of the information from, surrounding kingdoms and countries and different things like that. And they're sneaky and they're fantastic. This series is wonderful. He has a bunch of other like spin-off series that I haven't gotten to yet, but this one is definitely one of my favorites. This is the start, and as you can see, it is a well-loved book. I told this story previously, but I lent this out to one of my kiddos, a 6th grade boy, and he read it. He took it on vacation. They went camping, and he said, when I gave it back to him, when he gave it back to me, it looked like this. This is not how I gave it to him. And I said, dude, what happened to my book? And he's like, Miss Emily, don't worry. It fell in the fire. But I pulled it out and I doused it in water. So I saved your book. Like, he was so proud of himself that he saved my book. Oh, gotta love working with kids. Anyway, it's well loved, and for good reason, because it is wonderful. The first paragraph is the entire name of the bad guy. So just get past the first paragraph, because when I read it, I was like, what did I just get myself into? This is weird. It is not, I promise. Just get past it. It's wonderful. Okay, the next one was my favorite book of last year. Hands down, bar none. It is called The Lost Year by Catherine Marsh. Words cannot express how fantastic and moving and well done this book is. I loved it. We follow 3 different timelines. One during COVID. And when people would tell me that, I'd be like, I lived through COVID. I don't need to read about it. No, thank you very much. No, I'm good. But I picked it up last year because I just heard so many good things about it. So a little boy during COVID, and he has to help like his 100-year-old grandma go through some of her boxes. And so as they're going through all these boxes, she's unpacking her story. She's from Ukraine. She lived during the potato famine, the 1930s USSR holerdrum. Holodomor, a horrific famine that killed millions of Ukrainians, which the Soviet government covered up for decades. Holodomor. I have no idea how to say that. I'm a little bit tongue-tied right now, apparently. Anyway, I love that part of the world. I serve part of my mission in Russia, so that part of the world is very near and dear to my heart. And so learning about what happened in Ukraine and what happened during that time frame, but then how the two timelines weave together and the ending, wowza, 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 wowza. Definitely one I would recommend to anyone. I loved them so much. I'd probably say 5th or 6th grade and above kiddos, but wow, so good. Okay, another one that is just classic. I love both the book and the movie. I've given this out to kids. They've loved it. It's a classic. It's Holes by Louis Sachar. And we follow a young boy who gets into a little bit of trouble, so he is sent off to a boys' camp where they have to dig holes all day. And if they find something interesting, they're supposed to say it to one of the camp counselor leader people, and it brings up a lot of, past history of that town, of these families, of not everyone is who they say they are. It's wonderful. And I love that not only like the book and the movie are very, very similar. Of course, I like the book more, but this is one where the book and the movie are on the same playing field. Some of them, I have another example. The movie is just like, what did you do? This one is not like that. Anyway, this one in Newberry honor, totally deserved it, worth it, fantastic, perfect for reluctant boy readers, but anyone can read it, obviously. It's so good. Okay, the next one is just so sweet and so adorable. Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. We follow a young boy who earns money and he gets 2 hound dogs, and they just go on different adventures with these hound dogs. And it was fantastic. I read it, oh my goodness, years and years and years ago, but I have loved it ever since. I will say that they use the technical term for a female dog in here. So if you have a younger reader and they're reading it, make sure that they understand what that word is used for. Anyway, oh my goodness, I just loved this so much. I loved our little boy. I can't remember, Billy. And just his life. I think they live on a farm and he has a sister, and just kind of that whole, their life there. It was just wonderful. Such a good classic story. I loved it. Okay. Bud Not Buddy, another Newberry honor, definitely worth the win. This is by Christopher Paul Curtis. So adorable. We follow an orphan whose name is Bud, and he wants to find out who his father is. And he has all these clues, and so he goes on sort of this epic adventure trying to find his dad. And he runs into this band that he thinks his dad is involved with, but he's not with them at that time. But then we learn out how all these band members are in relation to Bud and his life. And it's so, there were laugh out loud moments. There were adorable, sweet moments. I've given this to kids. I've had small groups when I was in the classroom teaching. I had them read this. Oh, it's just adorable. I've read other Christopher Paul Curtis ones. Not my favorite. This one is definitely my favorite out of his backlist. Okay. So do you know how I said that Holes, the book and the movie were on the same tier? This one, not so much. The book, so much better. This is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. We follow a young girl who is cursed at birth by a fairy to be exactly obedient. and that just causes her so much grief, so many problems. So she goes on this epic adventure. Can you see kind of a theme of what I like? Of trying to find this fairy to reverse this, you know, this curse or whatever. And she runs into some interesting characters. And I love this one because growing up, I struggled with reading. I wasn't a fast reader. I wasn't a proficient reader. I had a hard time sounding words out. Like just everything now that I'm helping kids with, I've gone through. And so this was one of the first longer chapter books that I read by myself. And so I think that is part of why I love it so much, is because I felt accomplished finishing it, reading it all on my own. And I think that's big for kids. It was for me at least. Anyway, I love Ella Enchanted. The book, so much better than the movie. So if you've only seen the movie, just let it go out of your mind and come back to the book. Okay, and then the last one, I have read this with a couple of kiddos. I have a little, he's going into 4th grade maybe, 5th grade, something like that. He loves science. He loves rockets. He loves anything to do with building things. And so I read this, and then I read it again with him. Oh, we had so much fun talking about it and reading it, and he would predict things, and he'd be like, well, how did they do that? And, you know, because he understands all of the science behind it. Oh my goodness, he loved it. And this is called A Rover Story by Jasmine Warga. So adorable. Not my normal genre at all. But I picked it up on a whim because I had read another Jasmine Warga book and loved that one. And so I picked this one up, and I'm so grateful that I did because it is just so cute. We follow this robot through being built at NASA, being shot up to Mars, through his mission on Mars, and sort of his journey as a robot. He comes up with a bunch of different friends. Fly is one of my favorite characters, his little camera robot buddy. And my little guy and I, we had so much fun reading this because this is what he wants to do when he grows up. I wouldn't be surprised that if when he's, out of college, that he gets a job at NASA because he's brilliant that way. So reading it, he loved it. And when you find books that struggling readers love, they don't see it as such a burden. Anyway, can you tell I love my job? This is such a cute story, really short chapters. You also follow the sort of the scientists and their families as well. Oh, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be happy, you'll fall in love with a robot. It's perfect. Okay, these are the extra 7 that you get this month, birthday month, yay. All are fantastic and wonderful. I highly recommend any of these. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Have you read any of these? What other books, middle grade, do you think I would like? All of these books will be linked in the description if I didn't already say that. And also, the 1st July Middle Grade Monday video will be linked as well. So make sure you go and check that out if you like all these recommendations. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye.